Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to kind of talk about disconnect. And the thing is, you hear me talk about preparing. And I mentioned that I used to do preparedness expos. And the first time I even thought about it, I called the guy that was putting this expo on, USA Prepares .com is who it is, and they were putting this preparedness expo together. And I said, well, I don't know if I'm like a prepper or not, because I said preppers, they have stuff. I mean, you got all this food, you got guns, you got stuff to prepare. And I don't have any of it. So I don't know if this is the kind of expo I should be going to. And he says, well, where are you at? And I told him, well, I'm living in Guatemala. And he says, and you don't have anything that preppers have. And I said, no, just probably 90, 95%, maybe 98%, I don't have. And he says, and you can survive? And I go, yeah. And I told him, I travel, I go places, I do all this stuff. And then, told him I train SWAT, and, I do all this stuff. And he says, how can you do all that without having all this stuff? And then he says, wait, don't tell me. Come, come to this expo. And what it was it's not what you have to be prepared. The first thing, and we've all, not me, but I mean everybody knows, it's knowledge. When you have knowledge, you can do anything. But I never thought so much about it because, all I have is a backpack when I was down in Guatemala, when I was running around, and sometimes I don't even have that. It's on a motorcycle with a dog. How much stuff can you have? You know what I mean? And I'd be gone for weeks, sometimes months at a time. And so what it was I had knowledge, I had experience, and that stuff put together helps me get through situations. And I never even thought about it until I was talking to somebody, and they were talking about, so you're just detached, because I'm living out here in the middle of nowhere, and he says, so you're just detached. You just don't get involved. And then when you're completely not into it, you don't have anything to deal with. And it's not like that. Because yes, physically, just like when I was living in Guatemala, I'm away from everything. But there, they had a lot of stuff going on. And it was different stuff that's going on than what's going on here. And so, what it is, I do get detached. But before I get detached, when I say detached, in other words, I'm not concerned about it, is I prepare. I prepare for anything that could happen. I prepare for it. And then once I prepare for it, mentally, I mentally prepare. I know this could happen. Whatever this is, this could happen. So I don't like disconnect like, oh, it'll never happen to me. No. I know anything that can happen, more than likely it has happened to me. So anytime I can hear of something that hasn't happened to me, I want to know about it. Because I'm thinking that's probably going to happen to me. I mentioned that my time in Vietnam, with all the death and destruction that I was, not only I witnessed, I got involved in, I stopped believing in God. Because I thought if there was a God, this stuff wouldn't happen. So that's what happened. I stopped believing in God. Most people, when they go to war, they start believing in God. Now, I mean, they really, because it is so nasty. Now, but for me, I don't know what it was, but I just said, man, there must not be a God if he wouldn't allow this kind of stuff to happen. And he wouldn't allow me to do the stuff that I was doing. So, that's why I say there can't be a God. And then once I got married at 22. And then once I got married, and then my wife was big in religion. And and she couldn't explain all the stuff that happened to me. And it just took time because I had children, and I had to deal with the realities. And so in time, I started understanding and believing in God again. That's why I say I'm highly spiritual. I may not be religious, but I'm highly spiritual. Now, one of the things that I've learned is I don't let things, another thing I mentioned, I've been in business for myself all the time. So there's things that I can do to make my life go a certain direction. And then if I screw up, well, then it'll start going another direction. And so I realized that it's my actions that determines if I'm going this way or that way. I don't blame it on other people. I do blame it on why didn't I see it? And then I try to understand why I didn't see it. Now I know better and I learn from it. Okay. And so back to the detachment thing. There's a lot of things that I don't talk about, I don't get concerned about, but there are things that I am concerned about, and I do talk about it. When I'm talking about it and I'm concerned about it, that's because I haven't figured out how I can handle it. Normally, once I learn how to handle something, not only mentally, getting my attitude proper, then, hey, I'm okay. I understand it, I can handle it, and then I take steps. Talking about the food, the firearms, and gold and silver, These things are the things that I need to have to get through situations. Okay, now, like I say, I've traveled weeks, months, and I don't have all that food. Why don't I? Because I have gold and silver or money, something where I can buy this stuff. And and then, okay, I don't have firearms. Well, I may not have firearms, but I've made videos talking about using a stick for self-defense, there's many ways of doing self-defense, and I've talked many ways about how to do it, even through intimidation and scaring people. That'd be self-defense, and then once I get this stuff figured out, then I just kind of detach. I don't worry about it. concern myself about. And this is what I try to get other people to do. Once you prepare for something, then you don't need to be concerned about it. But you'll already have a workable plan and the abilities to make that plan work. And I share. That's the stuff that I share in my videos. I'm giving you ideas, giving you, like I say, the things you need to not only have, but the abilities to use and understand. Because it's what we don't understand is what scares us. We're scared of the unknown. That's why I was thinking, well, why aren't I scared of? I'm not scared of nothing. I heard they were talking about, well, if somebody, you're driving down the road and something happened, would you stop and get involved? Yeah. I don't care what it is. It doesn't make any difference what it is. Well, man, I mean, they could sue you. It could be a riot. Okay, well, okay. So, I mean, I've got plans that cover all these things that could happen to me. So once I understand what could happen and I understand what I can do about it, there's no reason to fear it. And that's what I talk about. So sometimes you might think, well, he's just disconcerting. He's disconnected. He doesn't even understand what's going on. I understand. I have a plan. I know what to do. I'm capable of doing it. This is Mike. NoStressMike.com.